Saturday's result obviously deeply disappointing for everyone. How do you look back on the match now that we're a few days on?
I think it was a struggle the first half. Probably it was just two teams down the bottom of the league, and then second half we kind of grew into it, and I thought it was a bit better. I thought we had more control, and I thought we just played better overall. I think it was a bit harsh getting the goal against us as well. So.
It felt like a sucker punch when we did concede, because you're right, it did feel like we had good control of the game at that point. Yeah. Is it about getting goals in those moments when we're on top? Is that what's missing?
Probably, but I think we just need to not shoot ourselves in the foot by going that goal down, and obviously you do need to score to win games, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's obviously a difficult period for the team, but you look really lively, and you did come very close to scoring that shot, especially that went wide of the post. Obviously you've had periods this season starting really, really well, and then with injuries in and out. Do you feel like you're getting back into a better rhythm now?
Aye, definitely. It's good getting more games as well. Obviously it was a bit interrupted with my injuries and that was brutal. But it's just building from where I left off. I think that was the main thing I wanted to do when I was back. But hopefully get back to where it was at the start of the season. Just build it up over each game.
What do you expect from Livingston then on Saturday? They obviously enjoyed an excellent result at the weekend.
I think it'll be a hard game. I think every game in the league is hard, but we need to remember we're at home and we can go out there and play the way we want to play and take the game to them.
Obviously the performance in the last game at Livy was a really good one, but for a narrow offside call you'd have had a goal just after Aaron's. Very, very close one. Every time I watch that back I'm still not convinced. Can you and your teammates take confidence from that performance though, because we gave them a game?
Yeah, definitely. I think we just need to look back and look where we can hurt them, and take a bit of confidence after that.
And then hopefully the linesman's kinder to you this time.
Hopefully.
Been a long time since we've gone this many games without a goal as a club. It's kind of strange because it's very unlike us last season, the season before. What is it that's missing for us at the moment? Because I know everyone's wanting their socks off to get, creating chances and to get the chances turned into goals.
I don't know, I think it's just the final bit. I think we need a bit more confidence going forward as well. It's just obviously hard when you're in the position that we're in, but we just need to work on that and need to go where we've got, you know what I mean?
The supporters obviously were all understandably concerned. Nobody likes to watch their team lose games of football, and I know the players are suffering with every defeat too, but you guys remain convinced you'll turn this around and give the supporters something to shout about again?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's only a matter of time before we do turn it around.
Lewis, hopefully that all starts on Saturday. Thank you very much. Reece, obviously the result on Saturday was a sore kick in a tender place. A few days on, how do you feel about it looking back?
No, listen, I think the performance itself probably lacked quality in both teams, but again, come away with the thought that I thought we were kind of deserving to at least a point. I think the decisions, it's a clear penalty. I haven't seen it back as well. It's a penalty in my opinion. Foul leading up to their goal, obviously on Rico in the middle of the pitch, clear pull back that obviously doesn't get seen. And big moments there, obviously moments in the game that have a huge effect on the outcome.
Kind of creative officiating besides. We spoke to Lewis McGregor about maybe those moments when we're on top in the game, just not being able to convert them into goals, and then we get caught on the sucker punch. Is that the thing we're going to need to try and focus on, that when we do have that control and we are creating those chances, that we put one of them away and see if that just gives everything the change that we need?
Aye, well listen, from immediate reflection after the game on Saturday, I know it's raw and emotions sometimes are quite high, intense, but when you kind of dissect everything in the kind of Sunday and Monday and you come in and reflect, it's definitely the message is when you're on top, regardless of whether it's chances or what, especially when you, like you say, when you get big moments in games going away from home, it's can you be ruthless? You've got to have that killer instinct. The longer the game obviously goes on at 0-0 and at 1-0, it gives the other team that opportunity to come back into the game or nick a victory, which we suffer from. But I thought compared to recent weeks, there was much more quality in the final third, much more kind of ability that we looked like we were going to get into the final third. And again, I can understand that. Listen, we're in a position now where the confidence isn't through the roof, so decisions and creating a barrel load of 100 chances a game is unrealistic at the moment. Boys need to build the confidence levels back, but to do so you need to obviously get results, and Saturday was a decent enough performance that, like I said, probably merited at least a point coming away from home. That kind of stops that wee rut a wee bit. But we've got a good group of fixtures coming together now, with obviously a cup game in there as well, so we'll be looking to obviously change the fortunes.
Speaking of games where good performance doesn't quite get you the result you merited, that probably applies to our last game against Livingston. Do we look at that performance as something to build on coming into Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of just remembering the game, I think again, moments in this league, you tend to find that the first goal's massive. I think even in the game itself, I think Chris Mockery has a chance late on to potentially put us 2-1 up, which could change the outcome of the game, and then fast forward kind of 5 minutes later you end up losing the game 2-1. So that's the fine margins that we're talking about. We understand that, but the main thing is that we don't get too sidetracked and kind of thinking of external kind of stuff that's going on. We know what we've got to do. Luck, whether it's luck, you create your own luck, as I always say. It will turn, it has to turn, but the main thing is they keep putting in that level of performance, level of effort, application, like they did the last time we played Livingston. We do that more often than not, then we'll start to see things change.
Livingston obviously will come here after a really big result, and they're kind of chase at the top of the league. So I expect that, as per usual, you're going to be expecting a very tough game against a decent opponent.
Absolutely. And again, you look at even their squad, and they've kept a lot of players who have been with the club for a while, so they know how Devenny and stuff work. They're up the top end of the table, hardly conceded much in terms of very well organised, as you'd expect. Coming off the back of a good result against a good Falkirk team as well, so they'll be obviously flying. But we've got to look at the positives from our side. Yes, the result wasn't in our favour, but the last time we played them, second half certainly performance at the weekend there against a Dunfermline squad who was kind of much healthier in terms of numbers and whatnot. So we know that we're not a million miles away. I know it's easy to sit and say that, but we aren't a million miles away, and hopefully in the next kind of 3-4 weeks we start to slowly see introducing the players coming back and on the injury list, and gives us a much kind of healthier chance to go and make changes and go and affect games.
You've talked about it before, how quickly things can change in football and how it can only take that wee one moment. I suppose you look at the national team, so long without a win, and they go and put back-to-back wins together and everybody starts feeling a different way about it. I suppose that's just proof positive of what you've said many weeks now.
Aye, no, listen, like you said, you can reference the national team. I think it was 10-11 games or something like that they hadn't won, with the talent and abundance that they've got in that squad. But like you said, coming off the last positive results, beat Croatia there away, good kind of last minute kind of winner in Poland last night. So again, football is it's a funny industry. It's one where you can be on cloud 9 1 minute, and within 24 hours, 48 hours it can be wiped from under you, and vice versa. You can be in a rut, and then all of a sudden a result, a performance, an individual performance, something can just spark a wee bit of life, and that's the nature of the beast that we're in terms of the industry in football. And I've played in many teams and been in many different circumstances, good and bad, where it doesn't always last forever. And that's the thing we've got to remember, is that we're in control of that. Whether it's luck, whether it's injuries, whether there's X, Y, Z, it's about making sure we stick to principles, we stick to fundamentals, we keep working extremely hard, and by doing so, I always believe that you get your rewards for your effort.
And when our luck does change a wee bit, it'll be not before time as well.
Well, that's the plan. Like I said, I'm almost frustrated and fed up of going home on a weekend and analysing the game and it being a negative one. So it's important that we remember that it is, I always say, never get high, never get low. When you ride the wave of the positive kind of results and set of circumstances we've had, when I talk about the kind of promotion and a cup win thrown in there as well in a short space of time, it's important that we don't get kind of too carried away thinking that we're too good and that we don't need to do the things that have got us to that position in the first place. And likewise, when we're going through a kind of sticky patch just now, it's about making sure that we remember that all of a sudden we're not a bad team. rewind yourself a couple of months ago and you're away to Aberdeen and you're putting in really, really strong performances, and obviously personnel helps that a bit. We've got a few injuries, which is fair and it's fine, but there's still certainly a lot of quality. It's just sometimes about reigniting that bit of confidence and performance levels that ultimately merit your result on Saturday.
Just briefly then on that injury list, you kind of hinted at it getting closer to maybe some bodies coming back. What's the situation there, and how's Dylan recovered obviously from his wee reoccurrence on Saturday?
Aye, so Dylan, again, it's not one that's going to hopefully kind of touch wood, it's not going to affect him. He's had kind of pain. It's just pain management. It's unfortunate the kind of acuteness of the injury that he's always probably for the next wee while going to have a bit of soreness, and he's going to have to deal with that and manage it as best he can. Obviously maybe changing from the surface from Astro to grass had an impact as well. Just felt it on his turn, and he got through kind of 45 minutes as well. So Dylan's a huge player for us. We had obviously Aaron Reid had a wee setback with his hamstring, so again we're trying to make sure that we hopefully when we get boys back that they're back to stay back, because that's been ultimately the problem, is getting to a stage in the rehab process but then ultimately not making it back to the pitch to me to get introduced to training. So frustrating on that side, because again it's almost affecting your squad selection, your team selection every week, not by choice, by kind of default. So but positive ones coming back. Liam McStravick won't be far away in terms of he's back into the kind of training aspect, so in the next kind of week or so he'll be back in and starting to integrate with the boys on a team level, which is great news. I think the boys will get a real boost from that. Mason Hancock, same doing his work on the pitch, stuff in the gym, strengthening, working that, so he's coming on good, no reactions and stuff, really good. Dean McMaster's the same, not a million miles away. We've just got to watch, obviously Dean, a partial tear in his ACL, didn't require surgery, so we've got to make sure that Dean comes back and he's strong and he's ready to stay back in the team, not have an injury and by us having a poor couple of results, rushing him back too soon and all of a sudden he tears his ACL and he needs an op and he's out for 9 months. So we've got a bit of kind of duty of care to the player as well, but listen, the boys they're itching to get back. They're not happy sitting at the sides, and especially things just now, they're not happy kind of watching, feeling that like they can improve what's going on the pitch, but they're working extremely hard. And Aidan Wilson again, not a million miles away, so he's passing his checkpoints as he goes, and again, like I said, it's about making sure that the boys come back to training, not rushing them back because we're struggling injury wise, or kind of small in squad. It's about making sure, right, they're back in training now, that's him, and they're back, and that's where my focus lies. We deal with what we've got just now, and like I said, we've still got plenty of quality within that squad.
Just a wee final touch on Justin Devenny, a wee bit of personal pride in him making his international debut last night, and a sign of what you can achieve if you come to this club and do well.
No, listen, I think I messaged him obviously in the lead up, knew he was starting at Crystal Palace, and again, like, it's a message that I use to the players now currently. It's a message that I say to the boys when we're trying to sign them. A lot of the boys will have used him as a reference point, and you forget that 18 months, 2 years, 3 years ago when he first came in, he was a young boy kind of struggling for a contract at Kilmarnock under 18s, going into under 20s. Not that we took a chance on him, but we've seen that he had loads of attributes, loads of good potential, and ultimately he was just needing a platform and an environment to go and thrive in. He does the work, he puts the work in, attitude, everything. Couldn't speak highly enough about him. He's kind of his desire, he's got a bit of everything in terms of he's one of the best professionals in terms of training, ability, wanting to win and do well as obviously having that wee bit of aggression in the right way, that he hates losing, which is a big thing that I really like. And he's kicked on, he's went from strength to strength, he became a main part of my team. I trusted him and put him in as a regular starter, and again he excelled, he kicked on each game, he was getting stronger and stronger. Fast forward, he gets his move to the English Premier League, which again for a lot of players could be this is brilliant, this is the end goal, but for Justin, he's got that inner determination and drive, and he then kicks on through the under 23s and does really well, captaining them, and gets his opportunities training with the first team. And like I say, it's up to him. He's then took that opportunity again, done really well, and impressed the manager down there. So he deserves every bit of credit that he gets. obviously in a short space of time he's had a bit of a whirlwind. He's made his Premier League debut after being in League One up in Scotland, but like you said, to go back in it for kind of younger players, which we know that's the club model. We like to try and get younger players in, develop them, coach them, and have a bit of success in that time, as well as try and obviously sell them on to bigger clubs. That's the kind of the mantra, and we don't shy away from that. But he's a great example if you're looking out there, that he won't be the first and he certainly won't be the last. There's a number of players who are at the same stage when Justin first came in, and I can see it, everyone can see it. He wasn't the finished article when he first came in, but you look at where he's at now, and like I said, it's credit to him. We take a small kind of sense of satisfaction. The fact that we managed to get him and just be part of the team was great. I'd like to think that if it was one bit of information, no matter how big or little, that we helped him and he remembers us by, great. But like I said, ultimately it's not about me, it's not about the club, it's about him then taking his opportunity. We give him the environment and the platform to do so, and he kicks on, and listen, I think he'll go on to have many caps, and hopefully it'll be a start soon.
Brilliant. Reece, thank you very much.
Cheers.